So we're just doing our continuous training, walking, training, working out, and I'm making my custard. I already had my beef for the day. Sometimes I flip that around, and we're working on the last 15 minutes of said custard. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to pull out. You can see how it's just starting to firm up. I've already chilled a plate out. I already put a plate in the freezer. We're going to pour a little bit of that mix. You don't want too much of that butter. Okay. A little bit of that mix in there. And then we're going to put that back in and let that finish up while we put the ice cream, custard back in the freezer. And in 15 minutes, I'm going to be able to stir that up in the freezer, 15 to 20 minutes. And it coincides with when I pull out the custard and I set it aside to cool. It's still nice and warm. So the moment that I pull that out, that ice cream is going to be ready to be churned, right? And broken off the sides. Notice how I put it right on the ice in a very chilled, very cool freezer. And it takes about 30 minutes altogether, typically, for the ice cream to get finished. But it may be freezing a little bit faster in the fact that there's very little water in this custard mix that I've got here. So in about 15 minutes, we're both pulling the custard out of the oven, right? Letting it sit, possibly putting it in the freezer. We're pulling out the custard ice cream, stirring that, and then putting it back in the freezer. And it'll coincide about the same time in about a 10 to 15 minute period where I'll be pulling them both out together, combining them and putting them together and making an amazing center to a nutritional plan and a diet. Now remember, I use between 3 and 5 eggs. So we've got our omegas in there. We've got at least 55 to 75% of all the nutrients we need just in the eggs alone, right? But not only that, we've added a little bit of cream, a little bit of butter, a little bit of heavy cream, I should say. Half a scoop of protein powder, high quality protein isolate, whey protein isolate. So we've got a metabolic meal waiting for us that tastes delicious. Oh yeah. And of course, how could I forget the Swerve brown sugar, as well as the Splenda and the ground cinnamon. And sometimes I'll use the coffee that I add all in together, and I use this as a staple, right? So when I get hungry later, after I've eaten this staple to a diet, right, mind you. So I put the ice cream on top of the custard itself. It's still just a little bit warm, not so warm that the ice cream's just gonna melt, but there's a little warmth inside the custard where this is a beautiful dietary plan. You're getting everything you need. It's carnivore, and you're specifically focusing on your beef later on, right? So if you're still hungry, you have a little beef, you have a little cheese if you're still hungry after that, and you're trying to meet your REE, your resting energy requirements. So if you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, when you're in ketosis, your body is already under stress. So it's almost like exercising. So if you're gonna do anything, create a deficit just by walking. Try to walk 3 to 5 miles in a day. Just shoot for that. Nothing crazy. Don't shoot for like record times or speeds. Just try to get it in at least 5 days a week, and you'll be amazed at the weight loss and the fat loss that you'll experience just by recognizing the ketogenic diet. But this is the most delicious way that I've ever experienced. And you can even do things like you could add cocoa with allulose and put it also in the freezer for a chill, and then add that on to the ice cream later. Or you could add it in with the custard, and you'll get these nice frozen chips of ice cream that have no sugar. So the erythritol, the allulose, and the monk fruit all work geniusly in a plan that doesn't deprive you, where you get the sweets for the sweet tooth, you get the high nutritional value, and you get to stay in ketosis a whole time.